Continuing with a video on variations, which is a part of ratio and proportion. Let's see what does variation mean. Variation. Let's say if I say A is proportional to B, what do I really mean by it? When A is proportional to B, is it is it means that when B goes up, A also goes up, and vice versa as well, which is if B comes down, A also comes down. That is, they go hand in hand. We call it direct variation as well. There are like various examples of it we encounter in our daily lives. One of the most common examples that we see is of IQ. It's my assumption that as the age goes up, the IQ goes up as well. But like that's like too much for the asking. Okay. Another example could be between quantity and the money paid. The more you'll buy, the greater the quantity, the more amount of money you'll have to shell. That's like pretty straightforward, simple example. And so these things which go hand in hand, they call direct variations or directly related. Another thing could be if A is inversely proportional to B. A is inversely proportional to B, which means if if B goes down, A goes up, and vice versa, or if B goes up, A comes down. And most common, often seen example of inverse variation is of time. Most of the things related to time, they are inverse relationship. For example, speed. Whenever my speed goes up, my time to travel, it comes down. If my speed is less, the time would be higher. Another example could be of manpower, of man force. Greater the amount of man force that I'll employ for my project, lesser will be the time. That's like it's pretty simple examples. Okay, let's see how we can use variation. These are and let's see how we can use variation in solving questions. Okay, the concept A is proportional to B. You can get rid of this proportionality sign by introducing a constant K. Which you can straight away say that A is some constant times B. A is some K times B. K is used to remove this sign. Similarly, in the case of inverse relationship, you can get rid of the sign as well by introducing the constant K instead of this proportionality sign. Let's do a good example. I have an amazing example to show you the use of the concept of the variations. Let's assume I have a diamond. Let's assume I have a diamond, and like most precious stones, whose price, it's like a common fact that the prices of most precious stones, they vary by the square of their weights. They vary in direct proportion to the square of the weights, which is price is directly proportional to the square of the weight square. And let's assume the weight of the diamond is 35 grams, and it costs us 12,250. That's pretty costly, I believe. And let's assume it gets dropped and it breaks. The diamond breaks into two parts, and the weight of those two parts, it's in the ratio 3 is to 4. Diamond gets dropped and it breaks into two parts in weights in the ratio 3 is to 4. Now you have to find what you have to find is if the owner of the diamond has made any profit or loss. The question is, you have to find if the owner of the diamond has made any profit or loss. The quantity, how much is the profit or the loss. You can pause the video here, or you can come back later to check your answer. Meanwhile, let's continue with the answer. We've seen that P is proportional to W square. Removing the sign, P is equal to K square. Plugging in the values for weight equal to 35 grams. We are given the price is 12,250. Plug in the values. 12,250 is equal to K times weight square, which is 35 square. 35 Finding 35 square is pretty easy. I'm sure you must have seen in the video related to finding squares. 35 square is pretty straightforward. 35 square, finding 35 square is really easy. 35 square, what we did is 5 square is 25. Number next to 3 is 4, so multiplying 3 by 4, it is 12. So the answer is 1225. 35 square is 1225. And 1225, 12250, they get cancelled on 10. So what we have here is we have K, which is 10. We found K. Now the diamond is broken into two parts in the ratio 3:4. So the weights of those two parts would be 3 by 7 of total and 4 by 7 of the total. 3 by 7 of 35 and 4 by 7 of 35. So we get the weights as 15 grams and 20 grams. So now we have two weights as well. Let's see the price of the first part. First part is K into W square. K is 10 into 15 square. 15 square is 225 into 10 is 2250. Price of the first part is 2250. And let's see price of the second part. P is equal to K into W square again. 10 into 20 square. 10 into 400. It is 4000. So we have the prices of the two PCs as well. So total price is 2250 plus 4000, which is 6250, and the earlier value was 12250. So we can it is clearly evident that the owner has suffered a loss, and the value of loss is 12250 minus 6250, which is equal to 6000. So the owner has suffered a loss of 6000. A quick recap of the question. We were given that P was proportional to W square, and we removed that sign by introducing the constant K. We found that constant K later on by plugging in the values, and then we saw there were two parts. We found their weights, and by having found that weight, we found the prices, and we saw if there was profit or loss. That's it. Okay, another question, another type of questions that we witness, that we see on ratios. It's about mixtures. It's a pretty straightforward, pretty simple example. Let's say I have a 40-liter mixture of milk and water. 40-liter mixture of milk and water milk and water, then the ratio 3:2. What you have to do is, what you have to find is how much water should be added to the mixture so that the ratio reverses, or so that the ratio of milk and water, it becomes 2:3. How much water should we add? You can again pause here and check your answer, and let's proceed to see the answer. Milk and water, it's given to be 3:2. So milk is 3 by 5 of the total, water is 2 by 5 of the total, comes out to be into 40, milk comes out 24, water comes out to be 16. Let's assume we added X liters of water. So the total amount of water that we have is 16 plus X. So now we have 16 plus X liters of water. Now what we have to do is, we have to compare milk and water again. Milk is 24, water is 16 plus X, and we want this ratio to be equal to 2 by 3. 2 and 24 cancel out on 12. Multiplying 36 equal to 16 plus X. Solving X, we get 20. So that means we need to add 20 liters of water to reverse the ratio. I'm giving you one more question on this topic. I won't give you the answer. It's one star question, one very beautiful, one very amazing question. You can mail me your answer, or you can leave your answer in the comment box. The question goes like: you bought milk at let's say at a rate of 5.5 per liter. You bought milk at 4.5 per liter, and then you sold it. Then it is sold at, let's say, a rate of 5.4 per liter. It is bought at 4.5 per liter. It is sold at 5.4 per liter. And in this process, you managed up a profit of 33 1 by 3%. 33 1 by 3%, I repeat, that's really important. You have to find, what you have to find is, you have to find the ratio of milk to water in this mixture. Now that's pretty intriguing. From where does this water has come? But you have to find, this is the beauty of this question, to find the ratio of milk is to water in this mixture. You can write me your answer, you can email me, or leave a comment here, whatever. Till then, you can continue enjoying the sleepy classes. I hope you've had a great sleep during these classes. Have fun, take care.